up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this House Music Monday, baby. It is a wonderful, and I'll tell you what, it's a hot, hot day today in the Shy. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. Man, oh man, oh man. It's been a fun weekend. I can't wait to get at it. We have an awesome show. Guys, listen, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you follow us on Facebook. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings or at SportsZone Shy. That's CHI, at SportsZone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snap all one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my co-host, my lovely co-host, Maya Kai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram, you follow her at Maya_Akai, MAYA_AKAI. Listen, we got a good show for you today, but listen, I need you to get interactive with me today. So I need you. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to post your questions or comments right here on the post on the page if you're watching this on Facebook Live, and Ivan will post these up. They'll come right on the screen, as long as they're not dumb questions. So other than that, they'll go up there. If you're listening to us on the app, guess what? We highly suggest that you download the app. Okay, we are an app-centric station, and we want you to make sure we want to guide you and steer you toward our app. So we're an app-centric station, and we need you to do that. And if you're listening to us on the app, then you can text us from the app, and your questions or comments will come right to our producer, and he will post them as long as they are not silly, crazy questions. Listen, we got a great show for you today, and I can't wait to get it started. But first, let me introduce my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, the Wiz, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Good morning, Shawn. What's going on?
Not much.
I'm having a little trouble this morning. I woke up a little late, and then I'm like, all right, let me get some coffee. Then my coffee cup, I was like nowhere to be found. So now I'm like, all right, well, I want my coffee cup. I don't want anybody else's coffee cup. And now I'm at this point with still no coffee. But
no coffee.
I'm here.
Oh man.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm doing my thing. As soon as that thing beeps, I'm gonna go off camera and go run and get some. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I'm not a coffee guy, so I don't know. Like some people are like, oh my God, I don't have my coffee yet. I don't get that because I'm not a coffee guy. Mm-hmm. So I don't get it. But from what I hear, those withdrawals are pretty. It's pretty, yeah. Pretty crazy. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a coffee guy. I've never been a coffee guy my entire life. No. I can tell you, I've maybe had 10
cups of coffee.
And most of them were back before the turn of the century when I used to date this girl in a Dominican girl. That's when the Starbucks iced coffee came out.
Yeah.
And they would sell them in the glass bottles at like Jewel and back then Dominic's. And we bought it. Was good. I was like, okay, I'll try some. And it was all right. They were good. They had the vanilla flavor or whatever, but that's about it. Then ever since then, I've never had a hot cup of Joe like people talk about. Never. Just been a morning person my whole life without coffee. And people are still amazed at that. That I've done that my whole life.
Yeah, you know? I mean, it is what it is. It gets me up. I mean, I don't know. It's like I just haven't been sleeping right or something. Just something's got me in a funk. But I'm good. I'm ready to go. Let's talk some sports.
Do it. Listen, we got a good show for you today. At 9:30, Matt Zawoski our boy from Sports Mockery is going to call in. We're going to talk a little baseball with him. I don't know if you saw. I think you may have. If you saw the picture or the video, not picture, the video of Lewis Robert effortlessly cranking these sons of biscuits into the freaking park or out of the park. Oh my God, Becky.
Dude, I told you.
Let me tell you this. It was, now mind you, it's in batting practice yesterday, during batting practice. And So the ball's not coming very fast, and he's not swinging very hard. It is unbelievable, the distance and the pop. And we talked about this a lot last year. Actually, the last couple of years, but specifically last year, that the ball just sounds different coming off of his bat. Just sounds completely different. And watching that the other day got me so fired up. I'm like, there better be a freaking major league season this year, because I don't want to have to wait another season for Lewis Robert to come up. And I'll tell you, I reposted, did I retweet or repost it? I think I retweeted it. I don't know if I reposted it on Facebook. My goodness, his swing, is so smooth. It reminds me of a right-handed Ken Griffey Jr. swing, and I'm excited and I'm anxious. And we're going to talk to Matt Zawoski at 9:30 about this, because I know he saw it, man. He's a Meathead Sox fan just like I am. Look at me. I'm wearing my Househead Sox shirt, because it's House Music Monday. And I can't wait to talk to Matt about it at 9:30. Well, listen, guys, and you know what? I'm trying to get it confirmed. We've been doing this since yesterday. We're trying to get someone confirmed for 10:30, so I can't tell you who it is. We're gonna have to see if we can get him. It's going to be throughout the show. Oh my God, I've been trying and reaching out to people, trying to get this. But if it comes to pass, we'll get it, and I'll let you know who the 10:30 person is. But other than that, we just got Matt at 9:30. But I'm excited if we can get this finally get it confirmed. We're going back and forth between Texas and calls, and yesterday, like text messages, not the actual state of Texas, but text messages and calls, trying to get this confirmed for today. So we'll play it by ear. Well, guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning to you. And these are the hot topics of the night before, just for sports in general. And boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies. Which way do we go? You know which way we're going. The NHL and the Players Association, they finalized some protocols for the return for the NHL playoffs. And let me tell you, I didn't know if this was going to happen or not, but it seems like it's going to. They're finalizing phases 3 and 4 of this, so they can come back. And I'll tell you and hockey's kind of like the lost sport. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's people are talking about basketball. They're talking about the wave. They're talking about the bubble. They're talking about this in basketball. They're talking about the regional schedules for baseball. They're talking about possibly the cancel. Well, they already did cancel 2 of the exhibition games, the preseason games. They're talking about all the other sports, but they're not really talking about hockey. Okay, they're not really talking about hockey. Okay, here's the most notable things from this document that came through. Any player that opts out of phase 3 and 4 will not be penalized in any way. Okay, but they must notify their teams 3 days after the ramification vote is completed. There'll be a max of 30 skaters and unlimited number of goalies in phase 3, and then only eligible players to play in the season are permitted to start up to skate again. So a max of 52 players, personnel members, a minimum of 3 coaches, and 31 players are allowed to travel for phase 4. So it's starting to get closer, and I'm telling you what, I am looking forward to it, because actually the Blackhawks are, in the playoffs. However, it's a situation that they're going up against
in the playoffs.
Yeah, but who they're going up against in the playoffs is a little bit could be a daunting task.
Yeah, Edmonton's no joke. We know Edmonton's a tough out, especially with Draisaitl and McDavid. But we know the Hawks' flaws. You know what I'm saying? We know the Hawks' flaws. We know what they thrive in. We know what they don't have success with, and it just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to a series victory to me. I see them. I honestly think it'll be a tough series. It'll be a well fought series, but I don't expect them to go get past this first round. I think Edmonton is just more well rounded at this point, and that's pretty much it. I don't think the Hawks have the help on defense to get it done. With the Crawford, you know what I mean. With all his experience, he's even on his last legs with the Blackhawks. So it's kind of hard to say. It's going to be a great series. The Hawks are going to pull this one out. I don't see it happening.
I think it's a very difficult out for the Hawks. Very difficult, tough task for these guys. And the reasons I stated just because it was what you say is the defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can score with anybody. But I think the defensive end is where it's really going to be difficult for them, because you can't have top two scorers in the league on the opposing team and have a crappy defense and have a suspect defense, which
Right.
the Hawks do. Now you're literally looking at you're going to look at a couple of things. You're going to want to look at either a plethora of shots, a bombardment of shots, 40-plus shots by the Edmonton Oilers, which isn't good.
Mm-mm.
Or you're going to have a fewer number of shots, but they're going to be really good chance opportunities with the top two scorers in the league on the Oilers. So you put those guys together, they may not need 40 shots to put up 5 goals.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. I feel like they're a year or two away. A year or two away defensively to even contend with a team like this.
Offensively, I'm not worried about them. It's just that defense, and that's and defense wins championships, in every sport. And when your defense is as suspect as the Hawks right now, I'm hoping. I'll tell you what, I'm hoping, but I truly don't believe that they can get out of the first round. But believe me, stranger things have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can get a Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, a Brendan Stott on fire, and they can carry you through the first round. Okay, great, that would be wonderful. But we don't know. We don't know if that's going to happen, and we can't count on all those guys. Dominic Kubalik and all these. We can't count Dylan Strome. We can't count on those guys and expect them to come out and be a huge offensive force when they haven't been a huge offensive force. Now we've been off for a few months now, and to expect them to amp it up and turn it back on at this stage of the game, I just don't think it's feasible. I want the Hawks to win. Obviously, I love the Blackhawks, but I don't know if it's reasonable that they come out of the first round against the Oilers.
Yeah, I mean you pretty much hit. We said it already. We said it a couple times before the season. Before the season got postponed, it's hard to say. It's hard to watch some at times. You see the Hawks score seven goals, just like nothing, effortlessly, and then they go ahead and give up 7 goals, like in the next night. It's just an unbalanced attack right now, and granted they're in the playoffs by definition. They're in the playoffs. They made it, but I mean, I really don't expect a big push from the Hawks this year.
Well, the next half of the morning topic. The Milwaukee Bucks have shut down their practice facility after receiving COVID-19 test results. Okay, the Milwaukee Bucks closed their practice facility, and this is from a report from Bleacher Report. They closed the facility after receiving results of a Friday round of coronavirus testing. This according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. He said the Bucks are expected to keep the facility closed until after they travel to Orlando on Thursday for the resumption of the 2019-2020 NBA season. This is a little scary when you get in a travel party and you're starting to get people who are, when there's a decent number of positive coronavirus tests. I I think it's worrisome, and you're going to get a lot more people backing out. You're going to get a lot more people refusing to put themselves and their families in this position to contract the virus, and I don't blame them. In addition to the Milwaukee Bucks, this came across right around midnight last night that the Sacramento Kings closed their facility after COVID-19 test in the traveling party came up positive. Okay, so now that's two teams who are closed their facilities, and I'll tell you what, this is worrisome. This is very worrisome about you have travel parties and you're going to be quarantined with these people. What if you miss somebody? Okay, there are some people who are going to be flying down to Orlando. They're not going to be flying with the team. They'll be meeting there. Then they have their own. There's going to be another protocol for them that they're going to have to get tested. And so I think it's going to be where we are treading on dangerous waters. We're treading lightly on thin ice. Let me just put it that way, because this could turn really ugly really fast. And I didn't anticipate no coronavirus tests, positive tests, but when you have two teams already closing their facilities, one of them because of a travel party, positive testing, you wonder, okay, what about everybody else who's going down there? And to me, that's a concern. And truth be told, if I don't know if I'd want to play now. Truth be told, I don't know if I want to play if I was them.
Yeah, no. Doubt is, I think doubt is the correct emotion. The correct thing to have right now. It's hard. It's hard to want to go out and play when you keep seeing cases pop up. You keep seeing things that look to be derailing, even though they're not derailing. They're not derailing the schedule and the date that they're planning on coming back as of yet. But I mean, I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Do you want to get sick? Do you want to risk it? I mean, do you want to risk it? What if your team gets bumped and you get sick and you get really sick and then it affects you later on? Like that could happen. You know what I'm saying? That could happen. You could be like, nobody knows the long-term, outcome of all this. So it's like, do we play for this now? First of all, if you're a player on a team that is a lower seed, it's gonna be hard to justify you going out there risking pretty much life and limb to go ahead and get swept by the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot to be risked out there to go out, to go out and get your butt kicked. And and some teams will get their butts kicked. Like that's just how it is. It's how it's going to be. They haven't had the time to practice. They haven't been playing. There's going to be a lot of rust, but I understand guys like a JJ Redick or like anybody who sits out, to be honest.
DeAndre Jordan, yeah.
Yep, anybody who sits out, to be honest, because it is that you're putting your life on the line right now, essentially to go ahead and possibly win a title, maybe win a title, and then what is it if you do contract it? What does that mean?
Yeah, so according to Adrian Wojnarowski by ESPN, the Nuggets, the Miami Heat, the LA Clippers, Brooklyn Nets, the Phoenix Suns also shut down their facility.
Oh, looks like Shawn got frozen up there. But yeah, I mean, it's one thing if we're moving towards a cure or some type of vaccine, but it's a completely another thing when you're telling guys, hey, we want you to go out here, we want you to commit, we want you to give us your all for the next 3 months, living inside this cage or bubble if you want. And you may or may not, succeed with your team's success may or may not be there. And then what if you go ahead and contract this? What if you go ahead and bring it back to your daughter, your wife, your family members? Once these guys leave that bubble, once they get bounced or whatever, or whenever they can leave that bubble, it's all up in the air. You don't know what anybody else is dealing with. And I mean, to be honest, if I were a 6 or 7 seed, 8 seed, like I said, you're coming there to get swept by the Lakers. So to me, there's really not much of an incentive to go ahead and risk my health for the sake of the Toronto Raptors or the sake of the Brooklyn Nets or whoever have you. Looks no, didn't get it back yet. Yeah, but I mean, I hope to see NBA basketball. I don't really want to see any season basketball, hockey, baseball, football. I don't want to see any of them derailed or even even a little bit because it just brings joy to us, especially in these times where I mean, there's not a whole lot going on. It's just you sitting in a room, not doing much. You and your family members. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to not want to see this happen, but you also have to think that these people have lives, these people have families, these people have associates connected with them that could be affected with it after the fact, by said player or anybody they come in contact with if they have contracted the virus. Now I'm gonna go see where Shawn went. But it doesn't seem like he's popping back up. Let's see. All right, Shawn will be back up in a couple seconds. He just got this text message. But we'll move on to the next topic. Redskins minority owner looking to sell stakes in the Redskins. Now, there's been a lot of backlash with the Washington Redskins, especially, since the topic's been brought up. Why don't they change their name because of insensitive? Oh, there he goes. There he is.
Yeah, we're back, baby. I don't know, some craziness happened. Might be the polar vortex.
Polar vortex. So I switched topics to the Washington Redskins minority owner. He wants to sell his stakes in the team. For me, I expected this. I expected it to be the smaller ownership, the small ownership voice before it gets to Dan Snyder. But and we had a conversation like, as long as the end goal gets done, who cares about the process? But to me, it's all about the process. If you could connect, if you like somebody who wants to sell their stakes in the team, to me, that's something that says, hey, I really don't want any part of this. You know what I'm saying? I really think that this is absolutely wrong. If you look, like, that's what I was complaining about. He's only doing it for money because you got a guy right here who's willing to sell his stake in the team because he knows what's going on is immoral. You know what I'm saying? Like that's.
I don't know how much it's immoral, or he feels it's immoral, but from what I was reading, it seems as if that they're having issues with Dan Snyder. Okay, they're having issues with Dan Snyder because there's three minority owners: Robert Rothman, Dwight Scharr, and Frederick Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the guys who combined own about 40% of the team, and so they've hired an investment firm, and it's just it's not just that name. I think the name obviously has something to do with it, but it's the relationship with Dan Snyder. He's being difficult because here is, according to this report from the Four Letter Network, it said they're seeking to sell their shares because they are, quote, not happy with being a partner, unquote, with owner Daniel Snyder. Okay, so I don't know why he's rubbing or how he's rubbing people the wrong way, but apparently he is in this whole thing. Maybe you're right. Maybe they want to change the name. Maybe they feel it's time to get the name changed, and he's still resistant to it. And so they're saying, hey, we're out. So they've hired a investment firm to try and get their shares sold, banking firm, excuse me, and to try and find some buyers.
Well, didn't Dan Snyder just announce that they were going to be looking for or taking steps to move or to rename the team or whatever.
He said there's going to be a thorough review of the
review. That was the word. So I mean, if Dan Snyder's saying that, I mean, isn't that like? And we said it the other day. That's change. Something is going to happen to where they are no longer the Washington Redskins. Now, why? I mean, I could see problems in other facets of their agreement or whatever, their business proposition or their partnership. But right now, like when you're going to leave right now, when he's getting the team, when he's looking to get the team name switched, looking to make a change, it's kind of weird that you want to jump ship right now when the ball is rolling, when it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's why I said they're having problems. The reason I quoted that they have a problem being a partner with them. We don't know what those problems are, so those problems aren't stated. So the problems with Daniel Snyder could be with the name, could be something in addition to the name, could be, and so we don't know. So to speculate on that, I wouldn't do it. I just know that I'm sure that I'm almost 100% positive that the name issue has something to do with it. But there's other things in addition to that. It's not just the name thing. It's actually being a partner with Daniel Snyder. So they want to get out. And you know what? If this is what you want to do, I ain't mad at you. I can't be mad at you. If you got a lot of money put into this thing, and it's not an easy decision. But hey, I get it. And hopefully they can get their share sold. But I know him and Ron Rivera, I'm talking Daniel Snyder, are actually working together to come up with a new name for the team. There were a couple of different names flying around the internet that they could use. One of them is like the Red Tails, and that's for the Tuskegee Airmen, the Black Air Force pilots who fought in World War II. And they're obviously identified by the red tails on the plane. Red is most likely going to be in there. Most likely, not definitively, but most likely going to be in there. Kind of so they can keep their color scheme and just have to worry about imaging and not necessarily change a whole new color scheme would be a big issue, a big deal to move. So it seems like that might be that might remain constant. So the word red in there somewhere, somehow, some way. So we'll see. But listen, we have to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we got our guy, Matt Zawadzki from Sports Mockery. We're going to call in. We're going to talk a little baseball. And is the season going to start? Another big name player opts out. We're going to talk with him about that. And where does he see this Sox team? Does he see it like I do? So don't go anywhere, folks. Matt Zawadzki coming up next. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Quicken Loans presents the Sports Flash, driven by Jeep on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. Golfer Bryson DeChambeau spoke to the media following his 3-stroke victory at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. He said a new approach to training away from the links has really helped him.
It's a little emotional for me because I did do something a little different. I changed my body, changed my mindset in the game, and I was able to accomplish a win while playing a completely different style of golf. And it's pretty amazing to see that. And I hope it's an inspiration to a lot of people that if they set their mind to it, you can accomplish it. It just takes a lot of hard work, a lot of figuring out things that you may not know and understand yet. But if you keep going down the line and you keep working on it, figuring stuff out, eventually you'll get a little bit better each and every day. And hopefully that leads to something great in the end.
Blue Emu promises no chill, no burn, no odor, just what you need to suit tired muscles and joints. The Sports Flash is driven by Jeep Truck Sanders, 1330, 95.9 The Zone.
So how many of us have lived in sweatpants, socks, and hoodies for the last couple of months? I don't think I even remember what a belt is. Luckily, there's Skechers for your feet. So now they're all staying safe, because starting to get out a little bit for the summer, we keep that same comfort no matter where we go. Just head to Skechers.com, and you can see all the ultra-comfortable options Skechers has to offer. With comfortable sandals and shoes for running, relaxing, walking, playing golf, everything you love to do under the sun, out of the sun, in the rain, in the house, whatever. And so many machine washable out of Skechers' exclusive air-cooled memory foam. See them all right now at Skechers.com.
And now a game of commercial chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, traffic has been crazy lately, right? And rush hour? Forget it. Nobody wants to let you merge onto the highway. But hey, somebody let you merge or you wouldn't be there. So try to switch to Progressive and save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers' minds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And our first guest is a good friend of the program. I'm excited to talk to him because we're both Sox fans and we can vibe on that level. Sorry, Ivan. And he is he's a good, you know what? We vibe on a couple different levels because one, he and I both went to St. Rita High School. We're both graduates of St. Rita High School. All right. You can find him on Twitter at SouthsideZo. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Matt Zawaski. Matt, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is first time with video. This is
yeah.
Yeah.
You got your shirt on too. Nice, baby. Nice. Yes. Southside. I got mine says house head, so I'm a Southside house head. So
We did not plan this.
You're right, we didn't. That is actually funny. It sounds like funny. But hey, listen, buddy, listen. Let's get right to it, man. So talk to me. You had to see that video of Lou Bob. Was he swinging with just one hand? Because there was him two hands. Because the way they were going out, it looked effortless, dude. It looked effortless. Him parking out of the ballpark yesterday, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I've been telling people since I've been able to breathe for the last year and a half. Follow him on Instagram and watch his stories. All he does is work out, is in the cage, and eats really crappy pizza. That's like all his Instagram story is. And every once in a while, like he'll do a couple flex pictures. You know, he's a kid and he just got millions of dollars, so good for him. But the kid puts in the work. I saw a couple people on Twitter refer to him as he's just a dog, and it's not dog in a sense of like, oh, the guy's dogging it, like he's not trying hard. No, it's dog is like he's relentless and he's going to keep coming. And then so you've been seeing him work and do all this stuff in the cages, and he's doing stuff with a flat pedal. He's doing all these drills and everything. And then he finally gets in the open cage on 35th and Shields. And I mean, I had to go into another room and close the door to watch that. It got interesting for a little bit.
A show, dude. He literally put on a show. The man love for Lewis Robert from Sox fans is a little uncomfortable because it's so heavy and so strong. But my goodness, this guy is put together. And my biggest thing with him is that why I think he's going to do well, whether we have the season this year or not, is that he doesn't have to carry the team. You know, it's not like when Bryce Harper came up with Washington. He was the star. You know what I mean? Right. And everyone focused on him. People are focused on Lewis Robert, but you're still focused on Tim Anderson. See if he can lead the American League in batting again. You're still focused on Yohan Moncada to see if he, who finished third in the American League, to see if he could have a second consecutive good season. You're still focused on Jose Abreu, who led the American League in RBI. You're still focused on Eloy Jimenez, who had 30 home runs after not hitting a homer for the first 4 or 6 weeks, and two stints on the injury list. So there's a lot of other people you're focused on, and it's not just Lewis Robert. He does not have to carry his team, which allows him to just play his game, and he's going to be protected no matter where he is in the lineup because we have enough studs, and that's why I think this guy is actually going to rake and has a good shot of, I don't know if they're going to have Rookie of the Year or a Rookie of the Year with an asterisk, but this guy is a front runner for that.
Yeah, and like you said, he's well protected. They can throw him, 7th, 8th in that lineup. No pressure. Just go out and do your thing, kid. And, I mean, he hits the baseball a country mile. We've seen it now. We all know it. It's fine. But don't forget, the kid is, like, just greasy, like, greased-up chicken fast. Like, the dude is just ridiculously fast. He could easily, in a full season, he could easily be a 30-30 guy in the near future. I mean, he's not going to do that in 60 games, but he's a great base stealer. The kid he's going to stretch singles to doubles, doubles to triples. He's going to be a problem on the base path. And I mean, that goes all the way back to Little League ball. When you have that guy who's fast, who can take that extra base, that sits in the fielder's mindset, and that forces errors, that forces overthrows. People are rushing to try to – so people sleep on his speed. And the other thing is he is a hell of a center fielder.
Yes, he is.
Because of the speed, he covers an insane amount of ground, which is probably a good thing when you got Eloy and Mazzara on both sides of you. He's going to be like Kelly Leak from Bad News Bears out there, just running around catching fly balls on both sides of the field. But the one weak point in his game, if I had to, well, there's two things. One is his arm strength. He's been working out like a maniac, but I'd like to see him be able to. He threw out that one guy in AAA last year, but I'm pretty sure that guy runs like a 6'2", 40. Like it wasn't a big deal. But so the arm strength, and then one thing that was pointed out by another great White Sox Twitter follower, White Sox Dave, is his ability to go opposite field. So you see he's pretty much a straight pull hitter. A lot of his home runs, especially the one where he hit, I think he was in Durham, he hit it over the big giant bull in left field. Like the announcer was like, I've never seen a ball go over there before. But it's all dead pull. Towards the end of the season, you could tell he was definitely working on that part of his game. He started going opposite field a little bit, which is great because like a lot of us saw with Eloy when he first came up, I mean, it took all of 2 at-bats before the whole league knew this kid can't hit a slider down and away. Just throw him a slider down and away. He's going to try to pull it. He can't do that, and that's why Eloy had a rough month or two to start. Unfortunately, this book is still kind of the same with Luis Robert, but I think they're on it a little earlier, and I think towards the end of the last AAA season, you saw him starting to go with pitches to the other. And I tell you what, that kid learns how to be a slap hitter to the right field. I mean, like I said, singles to doubles, doubles to triples, problem on the base paths. I am so excited for this kid. I'm almost as excited for him as I am for Nick Madrigal, but that's another subject.
Guys, we're joined by Matt Kowalski from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast, and we're talking a little White Sox baseball here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And let's not forget, the kid's 23 years old, 23 years old, I believe. I think he's going to be 23.
It's his first time in America.
Yeah. And so, we can't expect him to be, a Tony Gwynn. I'll give him time, and I'll take all his dead pulls right now, and we can work on it, especially work on it now. Since it's a 60-game season, work on it now. And I think here's one of the things why I think he's going to be really good is that you have people who've gone through this already. Mm-hmm. Okay. But not just that. And let's not lose fact on the cultural significance of it. You have an Eloy Jimenez who speaks Spanish fluently, just like he does. A little different dialect with Cuban and Dominican, but nonetheless, so there's not going to be anything lost in translation. So when he's talking to him about what they did to him last year and how they got him out last year on sliders, and then how he hit his first homer off a slider in Yankee Stadium, and he became more aware of it, I think that's going to shorten the learning curve for Luis Robert, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Because if it was an American player and talking to Eloy, there could be something lost in translation. But now since they're both native Spanish speakers, I don't think there's going to be anything lost, and I think it's going to be a much shorter curve. And if I were a betting man, or if I were Ricky Renteria, I'd say, hey, listen. They're going to try to throw you 1 or 2 fastballs until you knock one out of the park, and then they're going to see what you got. They're going to throw you curves. They're going to throw you sliders. So let's start working on your recognition of curves and sliders, and start being able to connect with those. Because you said it right, Zoe, and you and a whole bunch of other Sox people said that this guy could be a 30-30 guy easy. Mm-hmm. 40-40, they'd have to be a good year for him, but he could be a consistent 30-30 guy for the next 4 or 5 years. Yep. And if he can get on, if he can start slapping the ball all around the field, Lord have mercy. Right. On the base paths, this guy, along with Tim Anderson, along with Yoel Moncada, along with Madrigal, they're going to cause a lot of havoc on the base paths. Yeah, and I think so. You made a good point with Eloy being able to tell him like how he adapted and overcame. No one was hotter in Major League Baseball than Eloy Jimenez in September last year. People forget that. Dude went on just a tear, and then unfortunately the season just ended. But the thing, too, to keep in mind is go in the Wayback Machine about 3 years when Luis Robert was available for the international signing. It came down to, I believe it was the Angels, the Cubs sniffed around too, and then the White Sox, and of course the Yankees, because it's the Yankees. They're in everything. The reason why Luis Robert chose the White Sox was because Ricky Renteria and Jose Abreu went down there and did a presentation. Now,
I think I've said this on this show before, but I'll reiterate it. People need to realize how big of a presence Jose Abreu is in Cuba. Like Jose Abreu is like a god in Cuba. Like they all look up to him. He was one of the first players to defect and be as successful as he is. I mean, God, I hope they get in the playoffs just to give him that last layer of what he needs. But they call him, he has like 10 different nicknames in Cuba. Like he's like a god in Cuba. And so for a kid like Luis Robert to come up and be able to be under the tutelage of a Jose Abreu is just, that's so incredibly valuable that I think that doesn't get talked enough about because it's going to be huge. Like Eloy's like your goofy older cousin. It's like, oh, there's Eloy. He's doing the stupid 2-hand wave and like he's doing all his stuff. And that's fine. That's going to keep it light and keep it fun. And, you know, that's great. But when it comes down to it, Jose Abreu is going to be that guy that grabs him and says like, listen up, kid, this is what you need to do, or quit eating freaking Domino's. You live in Chicago, get some real pizza. Like just stuff like that. Like it's just, Jose, I'm a huge Jose Abreu fan. I was so happy to see him say, like, they're going to re-sign me. I'm not playing anywhere else. This is going to happen. And I think a big part of it is because he feels like there's unfinished business where he needs to be a tutor for these kids like Eloy, Moncada, and Luis Robert, but also just they got to get him in the playoffs. They need to get him some postseason success. He's earned it more than anybody. So I'm insanely excited. I'm so pumped up for this season.
You know, and the one thing about the one thing that you didn't mention about Jose Abreu that I think is paramount is that he's a professional and he prepares like a professional. And when you get talented guys like Eloy Jimenez, like Yoel Moncada, like Luis Robert, and they, first of all, two of them are Cuban, so they obviously look up to him. Talking about Moncada and Luis Robert, but when you see a professional go to work every day and prepare every day, how to prepare properly every day.
Yep.
All it does, it wears off on these guys, and these guys start with a higher floor than most people because of the talent that these three have. They start with a much higher floor, and that ceiling for them, if they continue to work and if they put in the work that Jose Abreu puts in the work every year in the offseason, this White Sox team is going to be unbelievably scary because with those three guys, and then we're not even talking about we haven't even mentioned Tim Anderson yet, but just those three Latin players, those guys, and having the work ethic of what Jose Abreu is going to be insane because he comes to work just by his 2,500 every year except for one when he was injured. You know, he's shown he's all about putting that work in. And when you get talented people who work at their craft, the sky is the limit for them, and the sky's going to be the limit for those three, if not four. We're talking about Tim Anderson as well.
Yeah, how cool is it that we're talking about this lineup and then we're like, oh, and by the way, the reigning AL batting champion. Yeah, he's in there too. yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah, if we forgot, the lineup's stacked. And I know a big thing with you, Shawn, just from talking to you over the years and stuff, is the pitching staff. And I'm sure you were happy to see Carlos Rodon out there throwing live BP yesterday, feeling good. He said his arm – well, I mean, it's awesome because it's – July and it's 1,000 degrees outside and we're still getting the normal spring training. My arm has never felt better. My shoulder feels great. Okay, bud, you said that last year and your arm almost fell off. So let's hope that, but that's great. I know Michael Kopech didn't show up for personal reasons. And, I admire Michael Kopech for how verbal he's been about his battles with mental health and what he's been doing to overcome it. I actually saw him at the last Sox Fest and I went up and he's like, hey man, you want to do an interview? I said, no, I just want to say thank you because he's been a voice for people that, are going through some stuff. And as someone personally, I admire the guy very much. And I got to say hi to his wife, who is not ugly.
He's very easy on the eyes. Yes, very easy.
Not a nicer person either. Like, I was all nervous to talk to her because I know she's like a TV star and everything. But, like, first of all, she's like 5'1". And then
really short, huh?
Super short. And like if someone opened the door fast enough, she was gonna blow away from the gust of wind. But she couldn't have been nicer. She was like, I don't know, all smiles, very talkative. But I really want Michael Kopech to just be a stud, and that's a personal thing just because of where he's at with everything. And if he's got to take a week or two off for personal reasons, that's fine. Let him figure it out. This is a weird season all around. And my big hot take, as I've been doing shows like this and my own show and stuff like that, was I always wanted them to experiment with Michael Kopech and Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon like an Andrew Miller, a long reliever.
Yeah.
Bro, he had blood in the muscles on his arm. Like, that's not where blood's supposed to go. Like, it's supposed to stay in the veins, dude. And I think Boris is his agent, actually. He is a Boris guy. Needs to sit him down and say, yes, starters get those big, sexy Garrett Cole contracts, but Andrew Miller sucked for 3 years, and he's still getting good contracts because he's a good lefty middle reliever. And if Carlos Rodon wants to play the long game, he's going to give it another run as a starter. I know he is. That's just his mentality. Top pick from NC State. He's going to give it another go, but maybe try it out as a bullpen guy. And I thought maybe Michael Kopech could be that, next to Aroldis Chapman minus off the field crap.
We're talking about blood from the torque in his arm from him throwing.
Something they said like when they took him out, they found like blood in the muscles. Like it was like, yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, that it wasn't. And they're like, yeah, dude, that's not good. You're gonna be done for the year. He's just like, he's like, okay. And so, but he threw great yesterday. It looked good. His mechanics looked really sound. But I don't know. And then the White Sox go and they draft this other kid who's a monster, the lefty, who throws absolute bullets. And now maybe he's the bullpen guy and Kopech is the starter, or vice versa. It's just like I've said a million times, man. It's good to have options. Good to have options.
This is first world problems that we're not used to on the South Side, dude.
Oh, it's awesome.
We're not used to these. We're not used to having literally 7 starting pitchers, legitimate starting pitchers. And one of the things, give me your thoughts on having tag teams. So like having, these 2 pitchers are pitching today. All right, you got the first 3 or 4, you got the next 3 or 4, and then we got our closer. How do you like that scenario? Because we have more than enough. You have Rodon, you have Lucas Giolito, you have Keuchel, you have Lopez, you have Cease, you have Gio Gonzalez, you have Kopech coming back. Okay, there's more than enough guys, and then don't forget the middle relief. We still got people like Steve Cishek. We got our closer. We have guys who can come in and take innings off because you're not going to throw your starters out there 7 innings the first couple of times. So you're going to limit them to probably 4 innings max. So
right.
You can get one guy 4, second guy 4, and then Colomé to close it out. That I think that's a good deal. Your thoughts though on if the Sox could do that and how successful they could be if they decide to go that route.
They have the horses, which is great. Again, actually, they're going to announce the schedule about 4:00 this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
They just leaked out the Cubs are going to open up against the Brewers. So there you go, Ivan. See, we can talk Cubs.
Very little.
Yeah, well, my show, The Pinwheels and Ivy, it's unique to the Cubs and White Sox. So I have to pay attention to the Cubs, which has been interesting the last 2 years. But anyways, the White Sox finally have the horses. But in this 60-game season, and it's going to be really condensed. So, like, if a guy goes out and he throws 5 strong, he can't – if he does that on Tuesday, you're not going to want him pitching again on Friday. You know what I mean? So, like, this year in this format, it's more important than ever to be able to have that stable of arms. And I think that's why they expanded the roster a little bit so you can have – and I also think that played a big part in the White Sox draft. White Sox draft 5 pitchers.
All of them, yeah. Every
Well,
single round.
We'll call it 2 pitchers and then 3 guys. But they drafted 5 pitchers. And they didn't mess around. They went out there and they signed these kids right away. They signed that Kelly kid for 3 times value.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason why he came. So he dropped because word got out that he's going to be asking for money. And then the White Sox are finally like, dude, this is a top 10 pick in the second round.
Yes.
We got the money. Let's go. And like this is such a weird year. So like all the normal scenarios we would talk about are just out the window. It's just.
I agree with you. And here's one of the things that my thought process is one. Bring the young kids up, bring those pitchers up, like you mentioned, put them in relief. You're not starting a game, so let's get that out of your head. We're gonna get you a couple innings to you're gonna eat a couple innings. Maybe we're up a lot, maybe we're down a lot. Who knows? But we're gonna get you some time. And I understand service time comes in play, but that's not important. The important thing is getting you time. The important thing is that these guys are going to be part of a championship team, or the team that's going to make a championship run consistently. Your thoughts on getting all the young guys, some of the newer pitchers, like specifically the top 2 pitchers that they drafted, getting them into some big league games this year.
So it's how a lot of us, especially on the South Side, it's just how you learn life, man. You get thrown in the deep end and said sink or swim. And I think with some of these kids, this is an opportunity now, like you said, to get them a couple innings. Here you go, kid. Go face, Miguel Sanu. Go face, some of these awesome guys. Yeah. And get in there. And for a kid coming out of college, and I'm sure he was the man at Tennessee, you know what I mean? Like he knew no one could touch his stuff. It's going to be both humbling and it's going to, help build confidence if it goes the right way for him to go up there and blow a 99-mile-an-hour fastball past Francisco Lindor. You know what I mean? Like, but also on the other page, when Francisco puts him on to, the Dan Ryan, he's going to be like, oh, all right, so I'm not playing against college kids anymore. Same for the Kelly kid that they picked up. I mean, he's a kid. He's a baby. But that's how you learn, and you learn quick. But a big part of it is what you alluded to, is just being in a winning locker room and having it so all is winning. That affects a player
big time.
Any of these guys that are, get traded out of Detroit to like the Yankees, the first thing they'll tell you is like the locker room is just,
the culture is so different.
So different. Like Detroit, we were just like there to show up. I seriously think Detroit's going to set a major league record this year for least amount of wins in a season. They're going to go, they're going to go like 10-50, and it's going to be like and out of their 10 wins, 6 of them are coming against the White Sox, just so you guys know.
Dude, don't say that. Hey, Matt, don't say that. I made a bet last night. I got a Detroit fan. He said he guarantees. So the over under 6. So if it lands on 6, it's a push. He said the White Sox or the Detroit Sox 6 out of 10 times this year. And I said you're out of your mind. You made a bet. You had witnesses. I was like, no way they're going to lose. The White Sox are going to lose 6 times to Detroit. I said they're not this year. And man, so don't say that, dude. Don't put that out there.
That's just how the White Sox luck is. They'll have
unfortunately, you're right.
And then Detroit will be, but yeah, and I want him up in the bullpen. I want him to learn from a guy, like Aaron Bummer had a great season last year, got that paper, and he deserved it. Great lefty out of the bullpen. Colomese needs a rebound here. Steve Shisak, he's seen everything, been in every kind of locker room. Same with Kelvin Herrera, but from what I've heard, Herrera just doesn't talk to anyone. Like he's that guy. But then they got all these other good arms like Jace Fry. Evan Marshall had a great year last year. Jimmy Cordero can hit 100 on the gun. Ian Hamilton. They have the horses, and I want these kids up because it's you have nothing to lose 60 game. It's a sprint.
It is. So give me your thoughts then, because here's what I liked. And let me hear your thoughts on it. I want them to run. All right. I want small ball. I want bunts. Because in a 60-game season, first of all, you're starting off in extra innings with a man on second.
Right.
Okay. So that helps. So now how are you going to get this guy over to third? And my thought is this: when you stress the defense, okay, it doesn't matter what sport it is. When you stress the defense, you make them play defense. Right. You're going to have mistakes, and when you're dealing in Major League Baseball and you're dealing in a sport who's morphed into a game where people don't steal bases often, you don't have the Ricky Hendersons and the Gary Coleman. I mean, and the Vince Coleman. They said Gary is and what's different strokes. And the Vince Colemans and the Willie McGee's and those guys, you don't have those guys anymore. So when you run, it really stresses the defense, and because they don't practice it as much, because Major League Baseball players don't do it, there's a lot more chances of error. Throwing that thing into center field, and now all of a sudden you got a guy on third, as opposed to second. Your thoughts on getting these guys on the base pass, be a small ball at times, and having them run until their face falls off when they're on the base pass?
I mean, I'm good with it, but just so you know, one of the most popular bets in Vegas right now is that the White Sox will have more home runs than the Twins. And the Twins set a record last year for most home runs in a major league season. We talked about this a little bit. So for those of you listening that never listen to Pinwheels and Ivy, listen to the show. I have Kevin is one of my co-hosts. He is one of the biggest high school baseball coaches in Vegas. He coached up a kid you guys might have heard of. His name's Chris Bryant. Yeah, he was Chris Bryant's high school baseball coach. He's still tight with him. But the class that he coached in Vegas came out with a lot of major league talent. And so we've been able to talk to a lot of them are pitchers. We talked to a lot of these pitchers, and a big topic on our show is always the juice baseballs. Okay. It was ridiculously obvious. And some of these guys that we've had on the show have confirmed the baseballs were very juice last year. I think they're going to do it again. I think they're coming out with juice baseballs again. They went back to the dead ball for the playoffs last year because they caught them cheat. But I think 60-game season, okay, you want to make this 60 games as entertaining as possible.
Okay.
What did we all say growing up that if I got tattoos, I'd get it tattooed on my body? Chicks dig the long ball, man. Okay. So they're going to want as many home runs, exciting, high-scoring games as possible. Pitchers hate it, but I think it's juice baseballs again. I love the small ball idea. I think running's great. I think they have some of the guys that are great for that. Tim Anderson, once they bring up Nick Madrigal is like the prototypical small ball guy, and that's not a short joke because he's 5'8", but he's literally a small ball guy. But they also have just guys that are just going to hit absolute tanks, dude. Like Eloy Jimenez, tanks. You know, Nomar Mazara, he's basically a bomb or nothing. Like that's like his MO is like that's all he does, and he sucks in the video game. Anyway, MLB the show. Sorry, I lost a playoff game last night because of him. But then we haven't even talked about my guy Edwin. Bombs, and I thought
30 homers the last 9 years in a row.
Yeah. He just hits tanks. And so it's they're a balanced lineup, but they're definitely heavier on the long ball hitters. And with this juice baseball, I mean, I think we're going to see bombs, but I'm all for the running. They have Tim Anderson's concealed bases. Luis Robert, we already talked about. Nick Madrigal's a problem on the base path. That little guy hustles. And then with this
Yo-Yo, don't forget Yo-Yo.
Yep. Moncada, well, he's tanks too. God, his swing's so nice.
Yeah,
he's tanks too. And so I'm just trying to go around. Yasmani Grandal, switch hitter, bombs. We haven't even talked about him. When we were talking about the lineup, we didn't even talk about arguably the best catcher in baseball. That's how awesome this is right now. It's an abundance of riches. But I'm all for the small ball. I just think with the juice baseballs, it's going to be another season like last year. And just so I thought this was very interesting. So one of the guys that we've had on our show a bunch of times is Chasen Sharif. He's a reliever, cup of coffee played with the Yankees, cup of coffee with the Cardinals. He's on the Mets now. And I asked him as a pitcher, what does the juice baseballs do besides get you pissed off because you see balls go flying over your head? So apparently the juice baseballs make the ball break less. And I didn't even think about this. So his good friend in the league is Dylan Betances. We all know him, all-star closer for the Yankees, and now he's on the and he said if you watch 2 seasons ago when he was an all-star, his breaking ball just fell off the ledge of the table, just couldn't hit it, gone. He lost. He said 4 to 6 inches on the break with the juice baseballs. 4 to 6 inches on a break is like night and day. You know what I mean? And so
that's changing your career.
And that's exactly what he said. He's like, it cost him money in his contract, all this other stuff. And trust me, Chasen got pissed. So we're not even going to talk into that. But he said one thing that was really interesting too is pitchers know about it now, and now they're preparing for it. So I think we're going to start seeing like a happy middle. Like we're not going to see guys hit 60 bombs this year or anything like that, but we're also going to see pitchers throwing to that new baseball and doing some interesting things.
Right. So instead of like a 6-5, I mean, instead of having a big break, they'll throw it like maybe toward the middle, so it breaks down
right,
the way.
Exactly.
They'll just have to make their spot's going to have to be different.
Yeah, instead of starting it at your hip, they're going to start it in the middle of your knee and a little bit farther away. So it gets to the end point they want, but they have to start it differently.
Will they end up going back to the dead ball? Do you believe if they do keep it, will they keep end up switching it again like they did in the playoffs last year?
So like most major sports right now, baseball is struggling, which is kind of a good thing because of social awareness and things being changed, which is awesome. I can't wait till the Indians change their name, which I think they should go back to the Spiders, but that's a whole nother thing. But I think they're going to keep the juice ball, man. It's all about money. It's about putting butts in the seats. It's about marketing, and it's way easier to get a sellout crowd when you're going to go see at least 3-4 home runs a game. Guys like who love baseball, like I can only speak for myself. I'm all about a 1-out hit and run perfectly placed on the right field line and the runner on first getting to third and possibly scoring. That's beautiful to me. And that's like what baseball in its purest form is. But you're still going to see it. It's just the common person wants to hear big, nasty bombs.
Right.
That's what's going to sell tickets. That's what's going to sell MLB packages. That's what's going to sell all the stuff. So I think it's going to be very hard for them to go away from the juice balls.
Guys, he's Matt Zawoski. He's on the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. Make sure you download that and check it out. You can find him on Twitter at SouthsideZo. He's a good friend of the program. He's a great reader, man. And, man, I appreciate your time, buddy. It was, man, I'm telling you, we're going to have you host a show one of these times, and Maya can't because me and you can talk baseball. Me, you, and Ivan, man, we'd have some good conversations talking Cubs, Sox. It'll just be like a Pinwheels and Ivy podcast for you, just over on our platform. So
no problem. We actually use StreamYard too, so this was a walk in the park. Yeah, anytime you guys want. Because of this, and my old lady's with my son she's pregnant with my son right now, so I'm definitely not leaving the house. So I'm here, man. So anytime you guys want.
Hey, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right, take care.
All right, now.
Bye.
Guys, that was Matt Zawoski, Southside Zoe, as he's known on Twitter, talking good stuff. And this is killer. This is killing the Sox fans. It's killing us. With this whole coronavirus thing. We don't want to have to wait another year. This was the year that many of us targeted. This was the year that many of us really had circled on our calendars. For 2021, for this White Sox team to compete in this division. And now with this short season, all bets are off. White Sox could run away with it in a heartbeat. They can also fall off the table, get off to a slow start, and not have a damn chance. So it's anything in between. So our White Sox are in a situation where White Sox fans, we just want them to get started. We want consistency, because if we talked about it earlier, what if something, the virus hits one team and they have, these guys are quarantined, you know what I mean? It can really end up, but I do think the White Sox are kind of immune to that. Not saying to the virus, but I'm saying to the devastating effect it would have on a team, because they're so deep, because there are, we're talking 6, 7, maybe 8 legit bats in that lineup.
Well, I was even going to say I had lost my question, but I wanted to ask Matt. With seven guys, I'm talking about the rotation now. With 7 guys, 7 legit starters, as you put it, you could go ahead and give a guy a break. Like you could pretty much plug and play a whole week of starters. You could give your top guy a rest while Gio Gonzalez fills in, or whoever the last 2 on the list are. You could just rotate that through if a guy needs a break, and on top of the bullpen that you have. So it's like there's a lot of good things that the Sox have going for them. especially in a 60-game sprint where they could do something like that. The arms could be unleashed, and they could still have that backup, waiting in the wings if you need to give somebody a rest, or if somebody goes, knock on wood. I'm not hoping for you, but somebody goes down or something to that effect. You could plug and play with the roster that you have.
Yeah, you do. And the thing is, you can really come at it because when you're a pitcher and your pitchers want to complete game every time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you control the game. It's the one and only sport where you literally control the game. If you're on and you're unhittable, I mean, it hasn't happened, but legitimately, in an extreme event, a pitcher could strike out every batter. Okay, that's how in control he can be. All right, and pitchers love that. They love the fact that they control the game. It's on them. So they're looking to go 7, 8 innings. Most of them want a complete game, but they get it. 8 innings at 7+ at least. Now you're in this situation. You're not going 7+. You're going 4. So you don't have to worry about holding anything back in those first 4 innings. Because a lot of times you kind of feel out the lineup once your second time through, and then you get rolling now. Because you're anticipating I'm going 6, I'm going 7. I got to save some energy for the 6 and 7. Now you don't have to. Now you can come at them for your first 4 innings if that's how Ricky decides he wants to play it. You're going at him for those 12 outs or whatever it is, and then the next guy comes in, he can go at him. So I think it's going to be a good thing. And Matt mentioned, we got the horses. And that's exciting to me. Like I said, these are first world problems that we haven't had on the South Side as long as I've been a White Sox fan. We've had good players. We've had good bullpens, but not good hitters. We've had good hitters and not good bullpens. We've had crappy hitters and bullpens. Okay, so I've seen it all. But the way this team is constructed, as I've said before, and I'll continue to say it again, the way this team is constructed, my hat's off to Rick Hahn for the way it is, because there's depth at every position. Okay, there's depth in hitting. There's depth in the bullpen. And this is done the right way, and he's done nothing but get us so excited for this point. And now we just have to wait and see and hope that nothing super terrible happens to this bullpen or to this team. So.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see. I don't wish any ill will towards any of, especially being a player. You never do, but it is a part of the game. So it's like you're going in. I'm going into this season, both Cubs and Sox. I want to see it. I want to see something. I want to see what they can. I want to see them at their best in this sprint, in this shortened season. I want to see them at their best, because it'll be interesting to see how each team fares in this playoff run. You know what I mean? The last time the Sox came, it wasn't that pretty. The last time the Cubs played in the postseason, it wasn't that pretty. You know what I mean? So I want to see how both teams fare in this shortened season. The Sox especially, they have the stable.
He mentioned the young guys, and we talked about the young pitchers, and I said, how would you feel about bringing them up? I would love it, and he mentioned, some of the people, just think you're a kid, their first round pick, and you're like, okay, we're giving you 2 innings. Go out there. And who's coming up? Christian Yelich and Ryan Braun.
Mm-hmm.
Who's coming up? Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, and Anthony Rizzo.
Right.
Who's coming up? Goldschmidt, and you talk about these players, and yeah, you might get touched up. Okay, but guess what? It's called experience.
Yeah,
okay? It's called experience, and you're gonna have to go in. And these are the type of people you're gonna have to face on a regular basis. So don't shy away from it. If you're a first round pick, you're a competitor. Guess what? Now you're playing with the big boys. Yeah. I know you were great at Tennessee. I know you're great in high school, and you guys are great there. But now this is the best of the best of the best. And one of the things that I like, I love this two things. I love to see people compete, and you might be out of your league, okay, and that's very possible. But that doesn't mean you don't try. That doesn't mean that you don't compete. That doesn't mean that you fold under the pressure. I mean, you go at these guys, and if they hit a home run, well, guess what? They're multi-million-dollar players, and they deserve it. They get multi-millions of dollars for a reason. And you say, okay, good, he touched me up. Where can I get better? And if they can come back after getting touched up like Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease has that issue of one bad inning, and then that joker just locks people down like they stole something.
Honestly, I think Dylan Cease, it's almost like one bad sequence of pitches. You know what I mean? One bad sequence of pitches caused the inning to go.
Yeah, and then he's lights out, and that shows me mental fortitude. That shows me that he's fit, that he's mentally tough enough to deal with an inning, a bad inning, a homer, an error, or an unforced and unearned run, and pitch over that. If these guys can show that, they might not have the exact stuff to pitch over, but if they come after you after a situation where they give up a long ball or an unearned run or something, and they come at you, and that flip switches, and now they're even pissed off, and you'll be able to see it on the mound. Yeah. Then that's what I want. And guess what? You're only going 2 innings, so you're not going to have to worry about being tired. Believe you me, they're not putting you out there 4 or 5 innings. They're putting you out 1, maybe 2. So you go at who you face. And I know you may have their car, you may have idolized them for the last 3 or 4 years, but guess what? Now you're facing them. And when you get kids who can do that and are willing to compete against guys that they grew up, idolizing, man, that's an awesome sight. And you got some quality players when you do that.
Oh yeah, and you know what, Ricky, where Ricky puts them in, because you would want to see certain guys in certain positions in certain situations. You know what I mean? Maybe some guys you think are able to handle the tougher situations, so you put them in there. But we also have to remember that this is 60 games, and every game. It's hard to say every game counts in baseball when it's 162, but this is 60. So to me, every game is elevated. Every game is elevated. So now you have situations where you have to really, look through them with, and make sure that this is a good spot to put your young guy in, because he could get tagged up. Like you said, he could get tagged up, or he could be successful. So do you put him in games where you're blowing a team out, throw him in there to tell him, hey, take it as mentally go into this inning like you're 0-0. I need you to get 3 outs. You know what I'm saying? Give them these challenges during games, during a game where it might not be the biggest spot to work on their stuff. Because if you're throwing them out there and they're getting tagged up, if you're putting them out in situations where, let's say you have a lead and all of a sudden now you don't have a lead, that could be detrimental to what the team's trying to do overall in the overall season. You could lose games like that.
No, you're not going to put these guys in meaningful situations.
Right. So the situation that they're getting into, right?
Your thought, and was my thought as well, is like if you're winning big or you're losing big. Mm-hmm. It's much easier if you're losing big. All right, you're down 5 runs, 6 runs. It's the 7th inning. Like, all right, listen, kid, I need you to go get 3 outs. All right.
But it's the mentality. It's the mentality that Ricky needs to instill. Like, hey, if you're going to go out there, I need 3 outs, but I need 3 outs like this. I need these 3 outs like you're pitching pitching in the 8th inning to setting up for Colome. You know what I'm saying? I need 1 out. I need 2 out. I need it like this. This is the way I want it during each situation. You know what I'm saying?
That takes a lot of pressure off of them, allowing them to compete. All right, because if you're up 8 or you're down 8, and I mean either way is fine. If you're up 8, I can you need to go in. He needs to say, hey, listen, here's what I need you to do. All right, we're up 8. I don't want to come out of this inning up 8. I don't want to come out of this inning up 5, up 4. Okay, I want to come out of this inning up 8. You need to get these guys out. And if you're down, we're down 4 runs. We're not coming out of this inning down 6 or 8 runs. You need to shut the door, and I need you to compete for this 1 inning, because this is all you're getting until, who knows, another 3 or 4 or 5 days, another week. Who knows what you're going to get? So you better give me everything you got now in this 1 inning, because I don't know. And guess what? If you give me all you got, it could mean your next appearance is much sooner than later. So
a guy that reminds me of this topic in particular is C.J. Edwards. C.J. Edwards came in, got 2 quick outs in the 10th inning in the World Series in 16, but then he went and walked the guy, gave up a hit, gave up a run. The wheels started to come off quickly. He was young, just came up from Double-A that year or something, I believe, something like that. So he had the stuff, but he wasn't quite ready. And that's the situation that the Sox find themselves in with these young pitchers.
They do, and they just you're right with Ricky's when he's going to put him in. But I also think that he's got competitors. I also think he's got kids who want it. I also think that the kids realize they're going to get touched up. You're not dealing with high school and college kids anymore. So for me, the most important thing is how do you, first and foremost, how you attack these guys, and then secondly, because you're going to get touched up, because everybody gets touched up. Every single pitcher in Major League Baseball, I don't care if you're a Cy Young Award winner or if you're the last man signed on a roster, you've gotten touched up at one particular point or the other. Mm-hmm. So how do you come back from that is the second, I think, most important thing for. I don't want to say more, because if you come out without a competitive nature, then that would be more important. So that's equally as important. How you come out, how you compete, and then how you react to when you get touched up, because you're going to. And if those two things are the same, because you come at it full force, then I think the White Sox have done. They found themselves two more key pieces of the puzzle. Not necessarily starters, but there's plenty of roles. There's long relief, there's middle relief, there's a setup man, there's closers. And if you go out with an attack mode in whatever role that they find that they put you in as a pitcher, then that's all you want. You want people attacking at all times. And if the White Sox got two guys who can do that, and let's not sleep on the other three guys. I know they're guys right now because they weren't highly talented, but hell, you get picked in the 5th, 6th round. When is Mark Burley drafted? In some ungodly round. You know what I mean? So just because they're low picks and they're not hyped up doesn't mean that they can't, develop into quality players. Maybe a starter, maybe a middle reliever, maybe a long reliever, maybe a setup guy, maybe a closer. You never underestimate, or you never assume someone's going to, because of the round that they're picked in, especially in baseball, that they're not going to be productive for your team.
No, I agree.
Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. I know we went a little long on that. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we have more sports conversation. Keep it right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Quicken Loans presents the Sports Flash, driven by Jeep on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. Golfer Bryson DeChambeau spoke to the media following his 3-stroke victory at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. He said a new approach to training away from the links has really helped him.
It's a little emotional for me because I did do something a little different. I changed my body, changed my mindset in the game, and I was able to accomplish a win while playing a completely different style of golf. And it's pretty amazing to see that. And I hope it's an inspiration to a lot of people that if they set their mind to it, you can accomplish it. It just takes a lot of hard work, a lot of figuring out things that you may not know and understand yet. But if you keep going down the line and you keep working on it, figuring stuff out, eventually you'll get a little bit better each and every day. And hopefully that leads to something great in the end.
Blue Emu promises no chill, no burn, no odor, just what you need to soothe tired muscles and joints. The Sports Flash is driven by Jeep, Chuck Sanders, 1330, 95.9 The Zone.
So how many of us have lived in sweatpants, socks, and hoodies for the last couple of months? I don't think I even remember what a belt is. Luckily, it's Skechers here feet. So now they're all staying safe. We're starting to get out a little bit for the summer. We keep that same comfort no matter where we go. Just head to Skechers.com and you can see all the ultra-comfortable options Skechers has to offer. There are comfortable sandals and shoes for running, relaxing, walking, playing golf, everything you love to do under the sun, out of the sun, in the rain, in the house, whatever. And so many machine washable out of Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam. See them all right now at Skechers.com.
And now a game of commercial chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, traffic has been crazy lately, right? And rush hour? Forget it. Nobody wants to let you merge onto the highway. But hey, somebody let you merge or you wouldn't be there, so drivers who switch to Progressive can save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. We just got off the phone a little while ago with Matt Zawoski, Southside Zoe from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast, and talk a little baseball with Matt. I love talking to Matt. I love seeing him around the ballpark. It's great. He is a Meathead Sox fan just like I am, so we can definitely connect on levels. In addition to the fact that we both graduated from St. Rita High School, the best high school in Chicago, probably the Midwest, if not the country. So,
wow. What? Wow, dude. Wow. I should be saying wow.
This guy. Oh, where did you go? Clemente or something?
Oh, why? Because I'm Puerto Rican?
Yes,
Clemente.
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's either Clemente or Kelvin Park.
No, I went to Lakeview.
All right. And you have the audacity to laugh at me, you son of a gun. So what are you, a Panther? Is that what it is, Panther?
No, Wildcat, man.
Wildcat. Okay.
Because
Well,
that's
yeah. Oh, but we just got to talk with Matt Zawoski and Southside Zone about a little baseball. Let's switch gears for a hot second and talk a little basketball. Chicago. We talked about this the other day or last week. Chicago could be a second hub for NBA teams. The remaining team that did not get into the playoffs down in Orlando could come to Chicago and have like a glorified summer league type tournament. Most of the games, if not all the games, will be held at the Wintrust Arena in the South Loop. Part of it is because it's a smaller venue. Another reason it's connected to the Marriott Marquis, to a hotel, so it's easy for the players to be shuttled back to their quarantine state, the hotel rooms or wherever they're staying, where they'd be staying. Your thoughts on it, Ivan? I get the fact that you don't want a 9.5 month break when you have people like a Kobe White, a Daniel Gafford, Wendell Carter Jr., guys who need to develop, and every team has those young players that they have that need time and need development. So give me your thoughts if you would like to see that here, because the cases of coronavirus are dropping in the state of Illinois, and it's unlike Florida where they are going. The other 22 teams, this seems to be a little safer spot than Disneyland or World.
right. And to me, of course I want to see Bulls basketball, but I don't want to see Bulls basketball with Coach Jim Boylan. I don't want to see Bulls basketball. Pretty much, I don't want to watch this year during this glorified summer league. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see Jim Boylan. I don't want to see the team unless they're able to make that move, unless they're ready to get rid of Jim and move forward with a new head coach, even an intern. I understand that you need to get these players, especially the young guys, some work. That's why I say it's like a glorified summer league. You could say it. I mean, you can say whatever it is, but that's pretty much to me what it is, a glorified summer league. You're getting guys ready. The other teams that haven't been playing, that aren't going to be, they're on the outside looking in and can't play with the rest of the kids in the playoffs. They need work too. So I get it in that sense, but to me it's like, all right, you have this, and the players work out. But what if somebody gets contracts COVID? What if somebody brings it over? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many questions, and you're finding, and you're getting these guys that are these players that are popping up positive for COVID as of late, and it just makes you question whether or not this is a smart idea, but whether or not we should limit the amount of activities, sporting activities, that that we allow to happen.
Well, I mean, there's going to be things in place just like there are in Orlando. So they're going to be tested every day. You'll have heat checks, or temperature checks, I should say. So they're going to do a lot of testing of players. If there's a person who's, for whatever reason does test positive, obviously they can quarantine him in a different part of the hotel, or they can just send him home. So I again,
what happened? Is it going to be like is it going to be like if a team that's in the playoffs loses, are they going to drop down to the seed? Or like what's going to happen? Are they just whoever wasn't in the playoffs is playing a straight whatever type of tournament, and then you move on from there? Is it for draft, like lottery spot? Is it for positioning? What is it for?
No, I haven't heard any of that, and it won't be that. It won't, because there are people who've already opted out, people who can be contributors. So how they're going to do the draft, that's yet to be determined. But no, it's from everything that I've read and heard, it's not going to be the playoff or positioning is not going to be part of it. Draft positioning or the weighted the amount of the lottery balls you get. Again, this is a weird year, so it's going to be they have to come up with another way to how to determine the order of the draft, and that's fine. They'll do that, but you win, you lose most of your summer league games if you're this little new bubble. If it happens, it's not going to give you a better chance at the first pick, from my understanding.
I don't want to say I hate it. It just doesn't sit well with me. I understand what the NBA is trying to do. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna make some type of money.
Yeah.
You're gonna make some type of money, but like all right, it'll just come down to the Bulls. Since we're in Chicago, we're playing they're about to play a nothing tournament. A shits and gig tournament. I want to see a new coach. I want to see a new coach. I want to see a new system. I want to see players utilized like they should have been utilized. I want to see decent basketball. If we're going to have to watch it, well, I'm not going to say have to, but if it's going to be on there, I'm going to take a peek. Like that's just what it is. I'm going to look at it. And if I see Jim Boylan running around calling timeouts for no reason, sitting guys, playing the bench when he should be playing the starters, shit like that, it's going to make me think of this new regime with Arturas Karnisovas. It's going to make me think negatively again. It's going to make me think like, oh, what are these guys doing? Why is this clown still out here? Why didn't they fire him 2 months ago? Or why didn't he fire him when he walked into the door like he did with Gar? You know what I'm saying? Like those are the questions I'm going to have, and all the frustrations will come back. That's so what I'm.
Here's the thing for you though, bro, and I get now. I understand. I see. I want a Gar gone immediately. Like get him out. But you have to wait because now here's the thing. First of all, you don't have a new head coach. Okay, you're probably going to get rid of him. All right, chances are 99.5% that you're getting rid of Gar. I mean, of Boylan. Okay, but if you get rid of him, who are you going to have run this summer league? Okay, because they're not going to be your new coach. They're not going to be. So what offense are you going to have them running? What are you going to have them developing? At least here with Boylan there, they're going to be in a system that they're familiar with. So you can evaluate them, say, okay, looking good. Because if you come in and you just say, okay, we're just going to play ball, run up and down the court, well, that doesn't do you any good either. No. At least get them in a sense of structure, even if it's with the old regime, because of the old coach, the coach that you're about to fire. Because now you can see how they work. Now you can see where their strengths and their weaknesses are, because they have set plays. They've already been coached, and they have a philosophy to follow. It might not be your philosophy if you're the new general manager or the new president or vice president of basketball operations, but you can see how these players work. You don't want to run around with chickens with their heads cut off just to play a summer league. Get them in a structured sense. And this structured sense is even though it's a regime you're about to get rid of, or the head coach you're about to get rid of, at least you can see what they do. Mm-hmm. After that, okay, thank you very much, Mr. Boylan. You're fired. Well,
it's I hear you. I don't disagree at all. I just think that when you have a lame duck coach who, and I'm going to say this, and I know these guys are professional athletes, and they're going to, they should be playing through their contract no matter what. They get paid. They're out under contract, yada, yada, yada. If you have a lame duck coach and you weren't really seeing eye to eye with your team, and that team wasn't seeing eye to eye with its coach prior, almost to the point where they had a mutiny, you know what I'm saying? Almost to the point where they were trying to push this coup. What do you think they're going to do in this nothing tournament? In this meaningless tournament, what do you think they'll do when it comes down to getting crunch time? Lena, you think they're going to be like, oh, we got to listen to Coach Boylan. We got to listen to Coach Boylan. Coach Boylan, what are you drawing up for this?
You're going to win. You're going to win. At this particular point, they understand that this guy's not going to be there. They're not dumb. They understand this guy's not going to be there. And believe you me, if they have any sense, and you're going to have some veterans who are telling them the same thing that I'm telling you, that, hey, listen, it's easier for them to assess us and see what we have if we can play under this old coach as opposed to just regular street ball. Okay, so yeah, we're not going to, you may or may not listen to it, but you also you're not playing for him. You're playing for your new general manager, your new vice president of basketball operations, and whoever it is that they bring in. they're looking at they're going to play because when you're playing, if you're playing, you want to win.
So what are they? What with that being said, what do you think they could work on and develop that they haven't already tried to work on or develop with Jim Boylen in this quick little sprint of games? What can they fix or what can they make better with Jim Boylen there during this tournament that hasn't been done in 2 years?
Who are they?
The Bulls.
Okay, so what are the Bulls you're talking about? What can the new general manager and VP?
No. I'm talking about the team. I'm talking about the team. I'm talking about the players. What are they going to work on that they haven't worked on in the past 2 years that's going to make them better?
Their deficiencies that maybe they're put in the wrong spot. Maybe they're not getting so they're not getting put in certain situations. So now you know what, if you believe you're a better jump shooter, and now you can work on your jump shot. Now there's a whole bunch of different things that they can work on. You can work on your rebounding. There's certain things that you could, and it may not just be a skill. It may just be your tenacity. It may be your willingness to compete. It may be something else that's not something that's tangible to this organization. Say, okay, look, he's a little more aggressive than we thought. He's, when you're playing in this a system that's comfortable with you with Jim Boylen, yeah, you have to.
Oh, looks like we lost Shawn again. But no, you know what? And we'll get Shawn's opinion when he comes back. The thing is that you heard the same voice, the same guy, the guy. Like, what more can the Bulls learn from a guy who is pretty much taking them deep into the abyss, further into the abyss? A guy that the players aren't even listening to. A guy that the players aren't even listening to. When he got the extension to be the head coach, when he got a 3-year extension from Garpax to be this head coach, it just doesn't make sense to me to see them working on individual stuff while the coach that has been put him in the worst type of situations is at the helm. It doesn't make sense to me. How can that message be pushed to this Bulls team? Even if it is for a short period of time. How can a Jim Boylen message do anything for any player on that team? Do you think a Zach LaVine is going to be like, all right, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it for Jim Boylen. Let's do it for Coach. Let's just play it out for Coach Boylen. Let's listen to what he says. Let's run his sets. Hey, you back?
Back.
All right, go ahead. I want to hear what you were saying. You got cut off there.
Oh, so what I was saying was that there's a way to when you're in an organized system, whether you like the system or not, you can see what players have, and you can see Mark Evers, you're gonna be able to say, okay, I see what this guy does. I think it might be a little better if he does this, because if you're just running without organization, it's summer ball, it's street ball. Right. And that's not what you're not looking for them. You have an idea of what these players have, but you want to see it. You want to see what it is that they're doing. You want to see what it is that they can do, and if you feel like you want to shoot more, now you can shoot more because you don't have to answer to Boylen because you know he's not going to be there, right? If you're a guy who likes to bang down low and have work on your post moves and you didn't get a chance to because of Boylen, guess what? You can do that now because whatever he says it doesn't matter because he's most likely going to be gone. To be able to see what these guys can do in a structured setting is so much easier to evaluate than just street ball. And that's why you keep a Jim Boylen, because if you bring in a new guy if you bring in another coach, an interim coach, like you said, who runs a new system or a system that they're not familiar with, well, what good is that? You want to see where these guys are comfortable, something that they're familiar in, so you can gauge their skill set, what their skill set is, and say, okay, I think they might be able to do this. I like what he does here. Let's see if we can push the envelope and get him to do better. I don't like what he does here. We may have to change that. When you see them in an organized setting, that is so much easier to evaluate, and you can go about fixing or dealing with the issues of the individual players from that, as opposed to just seeing them playing pickup ball versus anybody else. I mean, you're asking Jim Boylen to say, hey, listen, we need you to coach, and then we're going to fire you.
Well, this is what I want. With that being said, like, hey, we want you to coach. there needs to be either Karnisovas or Mark Eversley or whoever wants. They have to know what they want done during this time. If they're going to be working on their skill, if they want the team working on their skill sets, if they want Zach working on his defense, or Wendell working on his offensive rebounds, or Lowry working on being the jack of all trades that we need him to be, then you need to tell that to Jim Boylan. Then Jim Boylan needs to know, hey, you need to have I don't care if you give him a breakdown or what. This is what we want to do. This is what our focus is now as an organization, regardless if we keep you or not. This is what we want you to be pushing these guys to do. This is the work that we want them to be doing. That needs to be sent down from the top to Jim Boylan. Otherwise, I feel Jim Boylan's going to make it the Jim Boylan show again. He's going to why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? You know what I'm saying? Things like that, the Jim Boylan things that we've come accustomed to can start happening unless he's told, hey, this is what we want from you. Because it seems like whenever he got told by Garpax about anything, it was law. So if you tell him, you had to make it law to this guy, or else he's going to go ahead and do his own thing.
Well, what you do is you don't tell them immediately. You have a meeting and say, hey, listen, for the first of all, you have to figure out if this thing's happening. So if you have a Chicago bubble and you're going to play 10 games, 20 games, however many games it is you're going to play, okay? Then you say, okay, so for the first half of those games, so let's just make it nice and easy, nice. So you're going to get a 20-game schedule, just back and forth playing. All right, you can play a game a day. You're professionals. You're good. Okay, we have 20 games. After that first 10 games, when we as we evaluate this team, we're going to tell you, hey, we're going to say what we like, and we're going to tell you exactly what it is that we want these particular players, what scenarios we want these players in. So I want to see Zach LaVine shooting more three-pointers. I want to see Kobe White shooting more three-pointers. Or I want to see Larry Markkinen backing in the box more. I want to see. So you're going to call plays that highlight what we want to see. Okay, this is what we're asking. This is what we need you to do. And I think if that's the situation that happened, if they do that, then fine. Then I think they're good, because you need to be able to see what these guys can do. Again, you've watched film, but once you see them play live, it's a lot different than film.
Yeah.
And you also have these young guys who are saying, okay, here's what I really want to do. Now they're amped because they know they got new eyes, they got fresh eyes on them. And say, hey, here's what I really want to do. Let me either talk to the GM, say, hey, listen, what I want to do, I want to try this, I want to try that, or I think I could help the team by doing this. I say, okay, well, let's see in the first 10 games, let's see you do that, and if or let me see what you have in the first 10 games, and then we'll determine if this is something we think you should work on, and that degree will come down in the second 10 games, the second half of this glorified summer league, and then you can work on it. And if we see that you can do it, or we feel that you can do it, then you know what? Then we'll move forward with it. We can have you can anticipate doing this moving forward, next season.
I mean, we all just want the Bulls to be relevant again. That's the main thing. That's even we're talking about this it is what it is. It's going to happen. That's fine. You're going to see very small Bulls basketball, like a very small sample size of Bulls basketball still to end out the year. But look for what Kobe White does. Look for what Wendell does. Those are the things that I'm going to look for. It's just we still having Jim Boylan on this team. It's just, and I know the reasons for it. I know they can't, just getting rid of him and having a vacated spot doesn't really necessarily look good. And then you have nobody really to, I guess, right the ship in a sense.
At least make him earn his money. Make
him earn his money. So, for me, it's just getting to this next step, man. Once I think I, like other Bulls fans, just want this season over. Just want it to be done so we can see what the futures hold. I can't wait to get into next season because I know things are going to be changing. You know what I'm saying? I know there's going to be a different head coach. I know there's going to be different players on this route. I know the team's going to be playing differently. I want to see all that. And I want to see it now, but we can't have it now. You know what I'm saying? We got to deal with Jim Boylan.
Yeah, we do. Listen, we got to take one more break, the last break of the show. So the guys don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. More sports conversation coming up next, right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Quicken Loans presents the Sports Flash, driven by Jeep on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. Golfer Bryson DeChambeau spoke to the media following his 3-stroke victory at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. He said a new approach to training away from the links has really helped him.
It's a little emotional for me because I did do something a little different. I changed my body, changed my mindset in the game, and I was able to accomplish a win while playing a completely different style of golf. And it's pretty amazing to see that. And I hope it's an inspiration to a lot of people that if they set their mind to it, you can accomplish it. It just takes a lot of hard work, a lot of figuring out things that you may not know and understand yet. But if you keep going down the line and you keep working on it, figuring stuff out, eventually you'll get a little bit better each and every day. And hopefully that leads to something great in the end.
Blue Emu promises no chill, no burn, no odor, just what you need to suit tired muscles and joints. The Sports Flash is driven by Jeep. Chuck Sanders, 1330, 95.9 The Zone.
So how many of us have lived in sweatpants, socks, and hoodies for the last couple of months? I don't think I even remember what a belt is. Luckily, there's Skechers for your feet. So now they're all staying safe. We're starting to get out a little bit for the summer. We keep that same comfort no matter where we go. Just head to Skechers.com and you can see all the ultra-comfortable options Skechers has to offer. They're comfortable sandals and shoes for running, relaxing, walking, playing golf, everything you love to do under the sun, out of the sun, in the rain, in the house, whatever. And so many machine washable out of Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam. See them all right now at Skechers.com.
And now a game of commercial chicken brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, traffic has been crazy lately, right? And rush hour? Forget it. Nobody wants to let you merge onto the highway. But hey, somebody let you merge or you wouldn't be there, so try to switch to Progressive to save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers' minds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. We just got done with a little heated conversation. Ivan's fired up about Jim Boylan. He wants him gone. Vamoose. Poof, vamoose. Son of a... Oh, sorry. In the words of Jay-Z. Ivan wants him out of there. You know what? I get your point, dude. I do. And it's just we got to be patient. And this is... You know, this coronavirus has screwed up a lot of things because in a normal situation, the season would have been over already. He would have been gone. He would have been long gone. And,
this it's stemming from beyond coronavirus, dude. From before coronavirus. It's the inability for the Bulls to climb back up, to get back up after Derek's injury, after him being gone, after that
injuries,
after that era. That short era of Bulls basketball, there was nothing. There was nothing to look forward to. It reminded me of the Bulls before Derek. It's like, what do we have to look forward to? You had the try-hard Bulls, but then after that, it's like, what do you have to put to get them over the top? Because those are all role players. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you get here, you get to the point where after Derek's gone, and you're like, what the hell are they going to do? Like, are we going to ever see the playoffs again?
Well, what I'm saying about what I'm saying is like it's how Corona. Yeah, I do agree with you there, but I'm saying with Corona, this situation would have been alleviated because you want to interview all these different candidates. There's guys. There could be your head coach could be an assistant coach on some team now that's in the playoffs. So you're stuck. You're at the mercy of this pandemic. Where if this pandemic had never happened and the season had played out as it should have, then this decision would have been made. You would have been able to start interviewing people that are on playoff in playoff organizations right now, guys that you're considering for this position. These interviews would have happened already, and most likely a signing would be close, if not made already. Mm-hmm. So this is why we're stuck. That's what I meant. I didn't mean the whole totality of the organization. I agree with you. Since before Derrick Rose, I'm just saying that this pandemic kind of dragged it out. Okay, because now with the restart and the candidates who are in the playoffs, we can't interview them until they're all over, and so it makes it easier. And if hey, Boylan, you're making millions of dollars now, so earn your money.
Yeah.
At least
Part of it is just the crap that he says. You've heard him. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
The naive or just the ignorant. Oh, I feel like I'm staying where he feels like his job's secure. Like I don't understand. Sometimes I don't understand the thought. I try to think. I wouldn't say I would try to think like Jim Boylan, but I'm trying to think about where he's coming from, and I don't understand sometimes. It's like, where do you think you are? Like the land of Oz is somewhere else, bro.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and believe you me, I want him gone as bad as you do. Okay, but we gotta wait. All right, just with the corona, you gotta sit back and say, is it feasible to fire? And you know, again, as I mentioned, you want to see these guys in a structured offense. You want to see these guys in a structured system so you can see where they can do. Because you see them in practice all the time. I'm sure they have pickup games and things like that. And so you're going to be able to see them in practice, but you want to see what they can do in a structured thing because basketball is structured. Yeah. It's not just run up and down the court like we were in high school and just playing outside with our friends. It's structured and everyone has a different skill set, and you want to find out what their skill sets are to use them to maximize and use to the best of their ability to help this team win. So it's a little more of a eye roll. Jim Boylan's still there, like.
Yeah, right.
All right, he's still here. Okay, but he's only going to be here for the summer league because chances are, you know, I'm sure after he goes, or he should be after this East Summer League game, go home and pack a couple more boxes because he realizes that when this thing's over, he's out of town as well. So
if they rally behind Jim Boylan and win this thing, I'm going to be pissed.
To win the new Summer League?
They did rally around Jim Boylan to win the Summer League. I'm going to be upset. Oh man, I could see it too in my head. Like I'm picturing it. They just all of a sudden everything clicks, and then they're just killing the summer league. No, a big thing too is Lauri Markkanen. Next year, going into next season or going into this season, what the first game of the season, 38 points right off the bat, and we're all hyped. We're all on the Lauri train, and then his season just continued to go downhill from there. The development of Lauri Markkanen is paramount. You have to have him develop. You have to have him take a step. We saw him get hurt. We saw him take a step back last season. That can't happen. There's no more because if he doesn't step up this year, now you're looking at that Jimmy Butler trade a little different. Now you're looking at the team a little different because Lauri isn't doing the things that you thought he was going to be able to do. So getting Lauri ready to go for next year, getting it, once whatever happens with Jim Boylan or even in this tournament, you have to have Lauri working. You have to have him working. You have to get him developed because if it's not Zach, then who? You're going to default to Kobe White, who's in his second year? If it's not Zach, then who? If it's not Kobe, then who? Like, where do you go then? Lauri has to step up because he is the number two. He should be the number two. I shouldn't say – I won't say he is. He should be the number two, but he wasn't showing it last year.
I think Lauri's the number two. I think Kobe will be up there, but I think we have the makings of a big three. Okay, I think we have a making of a big three. We got Armando Lara the third saying I think Lauri peaked rookie year, unfortunately. That I'll disagree with you because I just don't think he was injured. Remember he came in last year injured, and then this year he got frustrated with
Jim Boylan.
He's got frustrated. Okay, I think a new coach who first of all, the new vice president of basketball operations, who is a foreigner, just like Lauri, is going to be able can relate to him and say, yeah, listen, let me take a look at him because for all intents and purposes, it was, we were looking at the three people we got in the trade from Jimmy Butler. We're talking Chris Dunn, Lauri, and Levine. Levine's been, he should have been an all-star. He got snubbed. Lauri has shown flashes of brilliance where he could be a legit player. Chris Dunn I think Chris Dunn has peaked, but then now you got a very electric point guard, a 19-year-old kid. Now I think he's 19 now, maybe 20, and Kobe White. There's your big three. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's your big three that you can build around. Okay, now you need shooters, now you need rebounders, now you need defensive players. Wendell Carter Jr. fits a couple of those roles. Mm-hmm. But I think you have that core. And I think you need to get one of those members of the core up to playing up to his potential. And the way you do that is you do things that he's comfortable with. You do things that he's good at. You call plays for him where he's comfortable. And that's where, you're going to need. This is why the summer league is good, because you know what? What if Larry Markkinen plays? Is because they can still opt out. But what if he plays and they have him in the post and he starts banging, and then he pulls his defender out and hits him with a 15-foot jumper in the face on a consistent basis. Now the dude's screwed. But more importantly, Lowry gains confidence. And now Lowry says, Lowry can be that Dirk Nowitzki type of player where he can bang you down low, he can pull you out and go by you, and then he's good enough where he can dish, he's good enough where he can go over the top of you. There's a lot to Lowry Markkinen's game that I like. But he just like Mitch Trubisky on the lakefront, he doesn't have confidence right now.
That's a good comp. That's a good comp.
I don't care how talented you are. If you don't play with confidence, if you don't have confidence, if your coach doesn't put you in position to be successful for you to gain confidence, it doesn't matter how talented and how skillful you are, because you will not play at the highest level, because there'll be points where you second guess yourself. You look at the great ones, the coaches put them in positions. They let them fail over and over again. And when you keep allowing your players to fail, it instills in them, it instills in the player like, wow, my coach trusts me to continue regardless of the success or failures that I'm having. He has a trust in me. He trusts me to do it again. And that's what we have to go with Lowry. Hey, if you have a crappy day, guess what? Your ass is going back in the post, and I need you to bang. I need at least 10 to 15 points today.
And that was what was lost this year.
Hey, you had a crap game, Lowry. You had a horse crap game. Guess what? You're going right back down to the post, and today's no tougher. You're playing a tougher defensive defensive player in the post than last week. But you know what? I don't give a damn. Get your ass down there, and you need to work.
Start working.
And all of a sudden, you built like, well, okay, coach got me. Coach, I feel you. Then now that you giving Lowry that trust, says, hey, you know what? Yeah, I can do it, because Coach's job's on the line. He's not going to keep putting me out there if I can't do it. And now you start building. Now you start getting the confidence. And now you start, now here's where these players fall in line for you. Will run through a brick wall for you. You just got to put your belief in them.
Yeah.
And they say, man, okay, good. Hey, Larry, you know what? Why aren't you pulling your guy out 15 feet? Well, I wanted to bang down low. Well, yeah, I do. But if you can pull him out 15 feet and go around him, then guess what? Do that. Switch it up, Lowry. Do different things. Here's what I want you to do. Okay? When you get the ball, dribble out 15 feet. Now he's walking out. Now he's like, oh, man, I really don't like to be out here. And as he's coming out to guard you, first of all, if he doesn't guard you, now just pop it in his eye.
First of all, what 7-footer is going to guard you on the perimeter? What's 7-footer going to guard Lowry Markkinen on the perimeter?
Bingo. And if they don't come out, then here's Lowry. Here's that mid-range jumper that I talked that you had so well. You get a 12, 15-footer. Guess what? A dunk or a 12, 15-footer is still 2 points. And we'll take it. So now what's going to happen? So now they're going to switch, and they're going to put a smaller guy on you. Guess what? Now your ass is going to back him down in the post.
Right.
So so you put him in every situation where he comes out on top. And then get him believing like, yeah, you know what? If they do, I will hit a guy. I will pop 12, 15 footers, or I will go by him, or I will post up smaller players. And all of a sudden that confidence builds. That confidence builds for Lowry. And now you can't tell Lowry nothing. Now Lowry's demanded the ball in the post because he's got a small guy with him. And so when they double team him, he kicks it out to an open guy, and then they hit. Now Lowry's like, hey, let the game run through me, because whatever you do is wrong. And when you have players, especially in basketball, having enough confidence where they say whatever the other team does to stop me, it's wrong. So if you put a big guy on me, I'm going to pull him out. If you put a small guy on me, I'm going to post him up. If you double team me, I'm going to find the open guy. So whatever you do is wrong. When you're playing with that type of confidence, that's where superstars begin.
You know what? You said it before. You said it again right now. The offense needs to run through Lowry. Like if you run it through Lowry, there's so many more options that you have than just, running down with a Kobe or a Chris Dunn, getting in deep, coming back out, pass. Like it's like I get it. You want to get it. You want to facilitate. You want to move the ball around. But if you got a guy who could do things like that, who in 3 situations can put you in a situation to either score points or have the opportunity to have an open shot, I mean, what more do you want? Like, what do you really want to run? Lowry's his versatility can be the thing that puts the Bulls over the top, but it's hard when you have a coach that you don't see eye to eye with. It's hard when you get hurt, and it's hard when you just I guess he wasn't comfortable. He just wasn't happy. He just wasn't happy last year.
No, he wasn't.
And when you're feeling like that as an athlete, like granted you play ball because you're a professional. You're going to go out there and you're going to play. You know what I mean? Mentally you're going to be there in the game, but there's something to it that deters you a little bit.
And the thing, one of the best things for me about Lowry is that you mentioned his versatility. Like I could run a pick and roll with Lowry.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I could have a pick and roll off the wing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and put him in situations to either end up with the ball. So now I'm picking a guards man. You have him come over to pick a guards man, and now he's stuck on a 6'4" guy is stuck on him. Boom! You get that ball right back to Lowry in a heartbeat. And now one power dribble into the cup. Okay, and there's so many different things that once you get this guy playing with confidence, if you get him playing with the confidence that Zach LaVine plays with,
mm-hmm.
now you're cooking with gas. Kobe White, he's got confidence. He knows he can just when it comes down to it, I'm getting the ball and I'm just flying up the court. You gotta catch up with me.
Kobe just loves being out on the court. Like that's the thing. Kobe just loves being out there. That's where his confidence comes. Is just love. You love watching. I love watching Kobe run around and play ball. You know what I'm saying? Like you could tell that he just loves being out there. That he doesn't need an extra push. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't need the extra kick in the pants or whatever, what have you, to go out there and play. I think Lowry might be that guy.
And it's easier for Kobe to play like that because Kobe doesn't have to give the ball up. He gets it. They get the ball to him, and he controls it. And he realizes I'm faster than most people. I'm faster than any 3, 4, or 5. So I'm going by it. I'm faster than most 1s and 2s. So if I'm pushing up the court, I'm stressing the defense because if I can get a quick bucket, 2 points is 2 points. 2 points is 2 points. And that's the way he's played at North Carolina. He was successful there. And why not allow him to do that if the situation occurs and calls for it? So that's the big three that the Bulls have. They got to get one of them confidence. They have to get Kobe White more experience. And once they do, and I think if they can get those things kind of shored up. I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
We got to get Zach some more help.
Yeah, man, Zach will be happy as a pick and slot because now he can have that pick and roll with Lowry. He can have the pick and roll with Kobe, and vice versa. And all the Kobe and Lowry, all these guys. Imagine a Kobe and Lowry pick and roll where Lowry comes over and picks. Is the same thing I just talked about. So now he's got a 6'3" guard on him, and Kobe White comes off the screen and Lowry rolls, and he just tosses it up for the hoop.
Yeah. I mean,
the confidence that Lowry doesn't have is a confidence that Lowry needs to get because he's going to be one of the big three, and he might not be a superstar. But when you have three legitimate options, because he'll be a star.
Mm-hmm.
He won't be. I don't know if he has the potential to be a superstar. Whether or not he will is going to depend on the next head coach. But if you can get 3 stars to play like that, then I think the Bulls are in a great spot.
I think Zach just needs someone he could trust. Fully.
And once he gets confidence, that'll be a dude he can trust.
Exactly. But I mean, it's still yet to be seen. And hopefully this year, whoever the head coach is, I know they were saying playoffs this year, but playoffs could be a possibility next year if if those 3 guys work. And Zach's already come out. He said, Zach wants it. With everything Zach has said and done. I would say myself, Zach LaVine is the leader of that team, and Zach LaVine is going to be doing the work in this offseason to get to be prepared for a playoff push, hopefully next season.
Well, listen, guys, 2 hours has come and gone. Man, can you believe it? That one flew today. Unbelievable. I want to thank my guest, Matt Zawoski from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Southside Zoe. That's Z-O, Southside Zoe. Good friend of the program, Reader Man. She's a good man. And we're gonna We're gonna have some more interesting conversation. I want him on a little more. He's a good dude. But we also a couple of things. One, first and foremost, if you're a rideshare driver, make sure you check out my guy at Phenomenal Auto Spa, 2216 South Kedzie, for a rideshare driver special. When they're telling you drive for Uber or Lyft, and he'll see the most likely stickers you have. Just say you heard it on SportsZone Chicago. That's the key word, the code word, SportsZone Chicago. You get for a car or an SUV, you get a $10 wash. For an extra large SUV or a minivan, it's $15. It's an outside wash and inside wash, and they disinfect the inside. So if your rideshare drivers, COVID-19 is real. Some people place plastic between the front and back seats. Don't worry about it. My guy will disinfect the entire car for you. Make sure you say Sports Zone Chicago when you go to Phenomenal Auto Spa, 2216 South Kedzie in Chicago in the Little Village neighborhood.
So the schedule just came out real quick before we take off.
I saw the Sox open with the Twins.
Yep. Sox open up to Twins, Cubs with the Brewers, but more important dates. August 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, White Sox versus Cubs at Wrigley. And September 25th, 26th, and 27th at Guaranteed Rate.
You playing 6 times?
6 times.
That's interesting because we were only supposed to play them 4. But okay.
Well, I think it's because we're also playing we played the Indians twice.
No, the schedule was 10 times for your division. So all the AL Central we played 10, and then the crossover we were going to play 4. But it could vary because because some teams have different amounts of teams in their division.
Right. So we played this is the Cubs schedule because it just popped up on Cubs Insider. They play the Royals 4 times. That's a 4-game set straight. Well, no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. They'll play the Royals 4 times, 2 at Wrigley, 2 at Kauffman, and those are in consecutive days, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they'll be, copping on plane and flying. Then they got the Indians twice in August. Then they have the White Sox in August, the Tigers in August, and then they go and they play the Indians twice again in September, the Twins, and then the last American League team, the Sox, in the last series of the season. Can you imagine if it came down to it, Cubs Sox, the last series of the year, for some type of for some positioning or a spot or so? Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Hey, listen, guys, we want to remind you. One of our new shows right here on Sports Zone Chicago, La Vida Baseball, is joining us. So they'll be on today and in 1 hour, 12 o'clock. They're on 12 to 12:30. Make sure you check them out. If you're listening on the app, make sure you tune in on the app. You should just keep it locked in right here on the app from at 12 o'clock Central Time, 1 Eastern, 12 Central. La Vida Baseball right here on Sports Zone Chicago. Make sure you check it out. So Mondays and Wednesdays are here, and then on Friday, B and Gian. We had this announcement last week. B and Gian, Ozzie Gian, and the boys are on Friday at 12 o'clock. So make sure you tune that. But today is our first day of La Vida Baseball on our platform on Sports Zone Chicago. Make sure you tune in, check it in 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. And this will be a great show with Jennifer Mercedes and Julia Alexandria. Excuse me. Those girls are awesome, and they'll bring you some baseball with a little Latin flair. So we got to take a 46-hour break. So for my co-host in absentia, Maya Akai, and my man, the Wiz himself, my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, Ivan Vargas.
See you on Wednesday.
Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. We will see you on Wednesday, and I got 2 words for you, folks. Superback, out.